courtroom was quiet before Karen Davidson said a single word, but the silence did not feel calm. It felt loaded, as if everyone inside the room could sense that something ugly was about to be exposed. Karen rolled in on her mobility scooter with a smug smile on her face. She was 47 years old, loud, confident, and completely convinced that the courtroom belonged to her. Her painted nails tapped against the armrest while she looked at the cameras, the audience, and the man sitting across from her. She did not look nervous. She looked entertained. That man was Marcus Chen, the owner of Fit Life Gym. Marcus was not rich. He was not famous. He was not powerful. He was a small business owner who had built his gym with years of work and sacrifice. He had come to America from Taiwan as a teenager with his parents, barely speaking English. He worked after school, helped his family survive, saved whatever he could, studied business, and eventually opened a small neighborhood gym. Fit Life Gym was more than a place with weights and machines. It was Marcus's dream. Single mothers came there after work. Older immigrants came in the morning for gentle exercise. Teenagers trained after school. Families who could not afford expensive corporate gyms found a place where they were treated with respect. Marcus knew his members by name. He had built trust one day at a time. Then Karen Davidson walked through his door and turned that dream into a nightmare. At first, she appeared to be a customer with special needs. She arrived on a mobility scooter, signed up for a membership, and quickly began making demands. She wanted special equipment. She wanted expensive modifications. She wanted changes that would cost tens of thousands of dollars, far beyond what Marcus's small gym could afford. Marcus did not insult her. He did not ignore her. He tried to help. He offered modified exercises. He offered safer equipment already inside the gym. He offered personal guidance and flexible training times. He tried to find a solution that respected her needs without destroying his business. But Karen rejected every offer because Karen was not looking for accommodation. She was looking for leverage. When Marcus explained that he could not spend $40,000 on equipment his building could not safely support, Karen's attitude changed. The polite customer disappeared. The threat came next. Soon after, Marcus received the email that would become the center of the case. Karen wrote that he could pay her $50,000 or she would destroy his business online. Marcus stared at the message in disbelief. This was not a complaint. This was not a misunderstanding. This was extortion written in plain language. Then the attacks began. One-star reviews flooded Fit Life Gym's pages. Many came from accounts Marcus did not recognize. Posts appeared in local groups accusing him of humiliating Karen and discriminating against her. People who had never stepped inside the gym suddenly acted like they knew exactly what happened. Membership dropped. Loyal customers became uneasy. Some stopped coming. Marcus's income fell while his legal bills rose. His wife, pregnant with their second child, cried at night because they feared losing everything. Karen knew exactly how this pressure worked. She had used it before. For 5 years, Karen had built a pattern around fear. Gyms, restaurants, clothing stores, theaters, and small local businesses had all faced similar claims from her. She would enter a place, create conflict, claim discrimination, threaten public damage, and demand a settlement. Most owners paid, not because they believed she was right, but because fighting her cost too much. Karen understood the numbers. A business owner could spend $20,000 defending a case, or pay less and make the nightmare go away. She targeted people who could not afford a fight, especially immigrant owners who feared being publicly branded as discriminatory after working their whole lives to build something respectable. Over the years, Karen collected more than $100,000 in settlements, but Marcus Chen refused to pay. Instead, he hired a private investigator. That decision changed everything. The investigator found lawsuit after lawsuit connected to Karen. Complaints sounded similar. The demands followed the same rhythm. The attorney involved in many cases was the same. The settlement amounts were carefully chosen, painful enough to hurt, but low enough to make surrender look cheaper than resistance. Then came Karen's own social media posts. She had bragged about settlements. She had joked that business owners always paid. She described lawsuit money as easy income. In one message, she laughed about another owner settling because he was too afraid to fight. Marcus realized he was not dealing with an angry customer. He was dealing with a professional scammer. His attorney submitted the case to Judge Judy's show, hoping someone with a national platform would finally expose the truth. Marcus expected nothing. He had already been disappointed too many times. Then the call came. Judge Judy had reviewed the case, and she wanted it in her courtroom. Karen did not understand what that meant. She thought she was walking into another room where she could perform, accuse, cry, and collect. She had no idea that Judge Judy's team had already investigated her lawsuits, settlements, medical claims, online posts, and financial records. What they found was devastating. Karen had sued nearly 24 businesses in 5 years. 11 had settled. The total came to $127,000. She had no steady employment income. Her financial life appeared to revolve around lawsuit settlements. Security footage from several locations showed her walking normally when she was not performing for a claim. Medical records connected to her own filings did not support the severe physical limitations she described to Judge Judy. This was not just a dishonest lawsuit. It was an attack on the justice system itself. Karen was using laws created to protect real victims and twisting them into weapons for profit. She was damaging small businesses, frightening hardworking families, and making genuine discrimination claims harder for people to believe. So when Karen rolled into the courtroom that day, Judge Judy was already prepared. Karen entered with full confidence. Her assistant helped her move from the scooter into her chair, and Karen exaggerated every motion as if the cameras needed to capture her struggle. She placed thick folders on the table, ready to argue and lecture. Marcus sat across from her with his wife beside him. He looked exhausted. 14 months of pressure had carved lines into his face, but he also looked ready. In front of him was the evidence that had kept him fighting when settlement would have been easier. Judge Judy looked down at the file and began. Mr. Chen was suing Karen Davidson for filing a fraudulent claim against his gym. Karen was counterclaiming for $50,000, alleging discrimination. Judge Judy turned to Karen and asked her to explain what happened. Karen launched into a performance immediately. She said Marcus had humiliated her in front of other gym members. She claimed he refused to accommodate her disability. She said he made her feel unwanted, ashamed, and unsafe. Her voice trembled at the right moments. Her words sounded emotional but rehearsed. Then she made her first mistake. Instead of sticking to facts, Karen began lecturing Judge Judy about disability law. She talked about rights, legal obligations, and what business owners must do. She spoke as if she were the authority in the room. Judge Judy cut her off. She told Karen that she had not asked for a legal lecture. She had asked what happened. Karen sighed loudly. The entire courtroom felt it. Then Karen leaned back with disrespect and said she was only trying to explain the legal context, since it was clearly relevant. Judge Judy leaned forward. Her voice became quiet, and that quiet carried more danger than shouting ever could. She asked Karen if she had just sided her in her courtroom and suggested that she did not understand what was relevant. Karen should have stopped there. She should have apologized. Instead, she smirked. That smirk changed the case. Judge Judy began with simple questions. How many gyms had Karen joined in the past 5 years? Karen hesitated and said maybe 4 or 5. How many had she actually used? Karen avoided answering. How many businesses had she sued? Karen's confident expression flickered. She had walked in believing she controlled the story. Now she realized Judge Judy already knew more than she expected. Karen tried to regain control with anger. She accused the judge of being hostile. She said she was being attacked for standing up for her rights. She called herself an advocate and said she would not apologize for demanding fair treatment. Judge Judy's face hardened. Then came the question that changed everything. Was it true that Karen had collected $127,000 in lawsuit settlements over 5 years? Karen froze. The color drained from her face. She had not expected that number. She had not expected anyone to connect the cases. For the first time, she looked less like a confident victim and more like a person trapped by her own record. Panic turned into aggression. Karen raised her voice. She said Judge Judy did not understand what it was like to face discrimination every day. She claimed society hated people like her. She accused the court of judging her unfairly. Judge Judy warned her to lower her voice and show respect. But Karen had spent years using outrage to intimidate people. She believed volume could still save her, so she stood up without assistance, without hesitation. For someone claiming serious mobility limitations, Karen rose quickly and firmly. The room noticed. Marcus noticed. Judge Judy noticed. Karen pointed directly at the bench and accused Judge Judy of being an angry old woman who could not accept that people like her had rights. The courtroom froze. Judge Judy gave her one final warning. Sit down immediately or be held in contempt. Karen ignored it. Then she said the words that destroyed her. She told Judge Judy to mind her menopause because she was too emotional and hormonal to understand basic property law. Silence fell over the room like a door slamming shut. Karen smirked at the cameras, believing she had delivered the perfect insult. But Judge Judy slowly stood. Her expression did not show panic or embarrassment. It showed control. Her voice was calm, cold, and final. She told Karen she had just made the worst mistake of her life. Then Judge Judy opened the thick folder in front of her. One document at a time, the truth came out. She listed Karen's lawsuits, nearly 24 businesses, similar complaints, similar tactics, 11 settlements, $127,000 collected. No real trial victories because Karen always settled before the truth could be tested. Karen tried to interrupt, but Judge Judy stopped her. Then came the medical records. Because Karen had placed her physical condition at the center of the lawsuit, the records were relevant. Judge Judy explained that doctors had not confirmed the severe limitations Karen claimed. Security images showed Karen walking from her car without assistance and moving normally inside businesses she later accused. Then came the social media posts. Karen had laughed about settlements, mocked owners for being afraid to fight, and described lawsuit money as easy income. Every screenshot made her look smaller. Marcus then presented the email where Karen demanded $50,000 and threatened to destroy his business online. Judge Judy read it aloud. The words landed like a hammer. That was not advocacy, that was extortion. Judge Judy ruled for Marcus Chen. Karen was ordered to pay $50,000 for the fraudulent claim and $18,000 for his legal expenses. Total judgment, $68,000. Due immediately. Then Judge Judy announced the case would be referred for criminal investigation, and her team's findings sent to every business Karen had sued. Karen had entered expecting money. She left facing ruin. Marcus cried as he thanked the judge. A courtroom erupted in applause. Outside court, the story exploded online. Karen became a warning, not a victim. She believed she could shout louder than the truth. But in Judge Judy's courtroom, the pattern ended. Respect costs nothing. Fraud costs everything, and when arrogance meets justice, no performance can save.